Just a few minutes, no chit chat. Let's start with the podcast.
Welcome to the deep dive. We are so glad you could join us today. Now, if you follow the tech space even a little bit, you are probably inundated with those viral videos.
Oh, the backflipping robots.
Right, the sleek, pristine humanoid robots doing flawless backflips off of plyometric boxes, or, delicately picking up an egg without cracking it.
Which, to be fair, looks incredible in a brightly lit, heavily controlled laboratory.
It really does. But it forces a very practical question for you to consider. What happens when that highly polished sci-fi concept actually has to clock in for a grueling 10-hour factory shift on a gritty, active assembly line?
It's a completely different world. It's a fundamentally different engineering challenge. Because transitioning a complex machine from a tightly mapped lab demo to an environment of absolute unpredictable industrial reality.
It exposes everything.
Exactly. It exposes every single vulnerability in the design. And that transition from the lab to the factory floor is exactly what we are analyzing today.
That is the mission for today's deep dive. We are exploring a really fascinating stack of fresh technical reports and operational updates detailing BMW's groundbreaking move. They are integrating humanoid robots directly into their active vehicle production lines.
Not just in theory, but in practice.
Yes, active lines. We're going to look at their massive pilot program in the US and then dissect the brand new rollout they just announced for Europe.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the first major milestone.
Right, the Spartanburg plant.
Spartanburg, South Carolina. BMW partnered with Figure AI to test the Figure O2 robot on the BMW X3 production line. And its specific job was handling sheet metal for the welding stations.
Which is not an easy task.
Yeah.
That facility is a heavyweight in automotive manufacturing. This wasn't an isolated test in some closed-off research wing. It was the world's first deployment of humanoid robots in a breathing, active automotive factory. And handling sheet metal is notoriously brutal to automate with mobile units. I mean, it's heavy, the edges are sharp, and the material flexes. So the center of gravity is constantly shifting while the robot is holding it.
They deliberately chose a task requiring dynamic manipulation. And what's fascinating here is the sheer volume of the operational data from this U.S. pilot. It really grounds you in the scale of what they achieved over 11 months.
11 months of raw data.
Yeah. These Figure O2 units were working 10-hour shifts, Monday through Friday. Over the course of the pilot, they successfully manipulated and transferred over 90,000 individual components.
Which is roughly 1,250 hours of active operation.
Right.
They directly helped build over 30,000 BMW X3s. But the metric that really blew my mind, the one you have to picture, is the mechanical endurance. Over those 11 months, the robot took about 1.2 million steps.
That's a massive amount of strain on the hardware.
It is roughly 200 miles. 200 miles of walking around a concrete factory floor while carrying fluctuating heavy loads.
And durability has historically been the primary bottleneck in bipedal robotics. Every time a two-legged robot takes a step, immense torque hits the actuators in the knees and ankles. The continuous micro-adjustments just to keep balance, while carrying a flexing sheet of metal, it generates massive heat.
So walking 200 miles under those conditions without catastrophic failure is a huge win. And it wasn't just surviving the walk, it was the precision. The readout showed the Figure O2 achieved a placement tolerance of just 5 millimeters in a mere 2 seconds.
Thousands of times a week.
Exactly. Hitting a 5-millimeter target over and over is a level of consistency human physiology just cannot match for 10 hours straight.
Because human muscles get lactic acid buildup.
Yeah.
Our cognitive focus naturally degrades during repetitive tasks. A calibrated machine executes it with the exact same kinematic precision in the first minute of the shift as it does in the very last minute.
There's actually a great anecdote from Figure AI's CEO, Brett Adcock, that really makes this real. He shared photos of the Figure O2 units after the Spartanburg pilot ended.
Oh, I saw those.
They were completely battered, heavily scratched, worn out, visibly degraded from the realities of the plant. They literally bore the scars of industrial labor, and they've officially been retired to help design the Figure O3.
It's a great visual for the listener. These aren't pristine tech demos anymore.
No, they are blue-collar working machines that took the physical punishment of building 30,000 cars.
It was the ultimate stress test. And surviving it proved to BMW that humanoid integration is a viable, scalable strategy, which sets the stage perfectly for this next massive leap.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because on February 27, 2026, BMW announced its first European pilot at the Leipzig plant in Germany. But they pivoted away from Figure AI.
Yeah, a major shift in partners.
They partnered with Hexagon Robotics.
And context on Hexagon is crucial for you to understand.
Yeah.
They are a division of the Hexagon Group, which is a massive Swedish industrial technology giant. We are talking revenues around 5.4 billion euros.
That is heavy-hitting industrial capital.
Exactly. We are no longer just looking at Silicon Valley startups funded by venture capital. We have established manufacturing conglomerates building these machines now, and they're deploying a brand new robot named Aeon.
Aeon. Let's break down the specs on this thing so you can picture it working next to humans. It's quite relatable in size. It stands 165 centimeters tall, so about 5 foot 5 inches, and it weighs 60 kilograms or 132 pounds.
So it occupies basically the same physical footprint as a compact human worker. That's critical for navigating walkways designed for us. But there's a massive twist in its design compared to the Figure 2.
Right, the locomotion. It doesn't walk on legs. It rolls on wheels.
It has a wheeled base.
Which feels counterintuitive at first. I mean, wheels limit mobility over cluttered floors, right? Factories have dropped materials, cables, temporary pallets. How does it navigate without articulated legs to step over things?
It's a calculated trade-off. And it's driven by one overriding mandate in manufacturing, which is energy efficiency. Balancing a bipedal robot on 2 legs requires continuous, massive micro-adjustments from high-torque motors just to stand still.
Let alone walking with a heavy payload.
Right, walking drains the battery exponentially faster. So by placing Aeon on wheels, Hexagon dramatically reduced the baseline energy draw. And they compensate for the lack of stepping ability with incredibly advanced LiDAR and spatial navigation. It just routes around obstacles dynamically.
And the performance stats are impressive. Top speed of 8.6 kilometers per hour, 34 degrees of freedom in the upper torso, and crucially, 5 fully articulated fingers per hand.
Which means it can use standard human tools. No custom attachments needed.
As for the payload, it handles 15 kilograms, about 33 pounds, or 8 kilograms for prolonged repetitive tasks. But the real aha moment for me regarding that wheeled efficiency is the battery life.
Oh, the hot swap system.
Yes. It has 4 hours of continuous battery life. But when it gets low, it doesn't just go sit on a charger for 2 hours. It executes an automatic battery swap. It rolls up, mechanically ejects the dead cell, loads a fresh one, all in exactly 23 seconds.
Which is incredible, because operational downtime is the enemy of any factory. Traditional automated vehicles need lengthy charging, meaning you have to buy extra redundant units just to cover the downtime.
A 23-second swap is basically a Formula One pit stop. It's back on a line before the next car chassis even arrives, and the price point is just as crazy.
Yeah, the estimated price point is around $20,000.
$20,000.
That completely disrupts traditional industrial economics.
Right.
Standard industrial robotic arms, the massive ones bolted inside heavy safety cages, those often cost over $150,000 after integration and custom programming.
So getting a mobile, 5-fingered humanoid for the price of a used Honda Civic is wild. But hardware is only half the battle. How does a machine actually learn to build a car? You can't just hand it a wrench and hope for the best.
No, you can't. And that brings us to the software. Aeon uses a framework called the 4 levels of physical AI. This is how it learns. Level 1 is simulation.
Okay, so virtual training.
Right. Before the robot ever powers on, it runs thousands of virtual tests in a digital twin of the factory to find the best movements.
Trial and error without breaking real car parts. Makes sense.
Level 2 is perception-based commands. Aeon has high-res swappable scanners that capture 1 million data points per second, so you don't have to code exact coordinates anymore.
You can just tell it, scan the door,
Yeah,
and it figures out where the door is, walks over and scans it.
exactly. It understands the intent. But level 3 is the real game changer, imitation learning. It only takes about 20 human teleoperated demonstrations for the robot to generalize a task.
Let's emphasize that for a second. An assembly line worker literally guides the robot through a task like picking up a bracket and attaching it just 20 times.
Yes, 20 times. And during those demos, the AI neural networks correlate what the cameras see with the physical force of its motors. It learns the pattern, and then it can do it autonomously.
That drops the barrier to automation to almost zero. You don't need a robotics degree to program it.
Not at all. And finally, level 4 is world models. This gives it an intuition about physics. If someone drops a random tool on the line, an unknown object, the robot can reason about its mass, adjust its grip, and move it out of the way in real time.
It adapts to chaos. But there is a crucial technical detail here. Where is all this AI processing happening?
It is entirely on board. Aeon uses NVIDIA Jetson Orin and IGX Thor compute boards locally. There is zero cloud dependency.
None, which is huge for security.
And safety. Factory Wi-Fi is terrible because of heavy machinery and metal structures. If a robot holding 30 pounds of steel relies on the cloud to know when to stop, a network drop could cause a massive collision. Local processing means no lag, and it's practically immune to remote cyber attacks.
If we pull back from the single robot for a second, how does BMW manage a whole fleet of these things?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's all part of BMW's iFactory vision: efficiency, flexibility, sustainability. To make this work, BMW had to completely destroy their old, isolated data silos.
Right, where the paint shop data never talked to the chassis assembly data.
Exactly. Now they have a unified platform. So robots continuously learn in real time from the entire factory's data flow. They even built a competence center for physical AI in Munich just to vet tech partners.
And they are strict. 5 specific criteria: industrial manageability, safety, economic sustainability, integration capacity, and scalability.
They're meticulously engineering this. They even used NVIDIA Omniverse to scan 1.3 million square meters of factory space into a photorealistic digital twin, just to prep for this deployment.
1.3 million square meters. So the robots know every inch of the floor before they arrive. But we have to address the elephant in the room for you listening. Are these robots taking human jobs?
The sources are very clear on this. The goal is complementarity, not replacement.
Yeah, BMW is deploying Aeon for tasks that are monotonous or ergonomically brutal. Things that ruin human joints over a 20-year career, like assembling heavy, high-voltage batteries or dense exterior parts.
Offload the punishing physical labor to the machines and keep humans on cognitive oversight and complex problem solving.
There is a brilliant quote from the president of Hexagon Robotics, Arnaud Robert. It really cuts through the Silicon Valley hype. He said, "We are not in the business of dancing. We are in the business of working."
A very direct shot at the viral social media videos.
Very direct. And just to give you the timeline on this working reality, they tested the deployment in December 2025. Right now, in April 2026, they are doing the IT integration.
And by summer 2026, it goes into full mass production pilot mode. By the end of this year, 2 Aeons will be fully active on the line.
So what does this all mean? We are officially crossing the bridge. We are moving from cool robotics concepts in a lab to highly efficient $20,000 blue-collar machines, fully integrated into a massive corporate IT ecosystem.
And as Arnaud Robert hopes, we could easily see thousands of these deployed in the next 5 years.
Which is a paradigm shift.
It is. And this raises an important question, something I really want to leave you to mull over today. We just learned that Aeon can learn a complex physical task for merely 20 human demonstrations.
Right, 20 tries.
And it processes all of that physical AI entirely offline, natively, without needing a cloud connection. Plus, it only costs $20,000.
Which is the price of a cheap car.
Exactly. So if a highly capable, continuously learning physical AI is that cheap and doesn't rely on constant internet, how long until this imitation learning leaves the mapped, highly controlled BMW factories?
How long until it hits the real world?
Yes. When does it enter chaotic everyday environments, like local trades, construction sites, or even small-town workshops? The bottleneck isn't the software anymore. It's just manufacturing the hardware at scale.
That is a wild thought to end on. The factory is just the proving ground. The everyday economy is next. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep your eyes on the factory floor because the future is clocking in for a shift. We will catch you next time.
Welcome to my AI-based channel. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe.